One of the habits in the book of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is to begin with the end in mind. And it's always fascinating to see how some of these successful ideas in the world, in business, in psychology, so often you can find them hidden in the Torah. And this one as well, starting with the end in mind, is built in to the very fabric of creation itself. You see, the second verse in the book of Genesis tells us that right in the beginning of creation, the earth was filled with emptiness and disorder and darkness, and the Spirit of God was upon the face of the depths of the water. This is the beginning of Genesis. There was an incredibly talented and colorful man whose name was Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish, one of the sages of the Talmud. He began his life's journey being raised without a proper Jewish education. And he got mixed up into the wrong crowds and he became a bandit, eventually became the chief of the bandits. And one day, in an unplanned meeting, he met the chief of the sages, Rabbi Yochanan, and they got into a heavy discussion. And at one point, he asked Rabbi Yochanan, attacking Rabbi Yochanan for something in the Jewish community. Rabbi Yochanan responded and said, Reish Lakish, you have so much power. You're full of vigor, full of strength, chief of the bandits. It would be so appropriate if you can transfer all that energy and use it in Torah study and in observance of mitzvahs and good deeds. You can change the world. And Reish Lakish thought about it, speaking to the chief of the sages. It was a very inspiring moment, and he said, if I turn back and reshape my life, who will ever marry me? And Rabbi Yochanan said, I'll talk to my sister. And sure enough, that's actually what happened. Rabbi Reish Lakish started a new life and became one of the sages himself. And with the power of transformation, was able to unleash, to discover secrets of the Torah that no one was able to see just because of the sheer power that he had from transforming all the negative energy into positivity. And he did end up marrying Rabbi Yochanan's sister. So one of the things he expounded upon was this very verse. And he said, do you know how fascinating this verse is? The very second verse of the entire Torah. In this second verse of the Torah, you have the beginning of creation is with the end in mind. In this verse, you find the whole story of the Jewish people's odyssey, all the way till the coming of Moshiach, redeemed and healed world, is all hinted to right here in this verse. And he says that this verse refers to the 4 kingdoms that will eventually exile and subjugate the Jewish people, beginning with the first words that the earth was filled with emptiness, haaretz hota tohu. Tohu refers, he says, to the Babylonian Empire. Without going into the details of how he compares each one, he shows how it fits perfectly. The first part, Tohu, is referring to the Babylonian exile who destroyed the first temple and exiled the Jews to Babylon in 586 BCE. And then he continues, the next word, Vavohu, and disorder. That refers to the empire of Madai, the Persian Empire, who conquered Babylon and subjugated the Jewish people at the start of the Second Temple era. The next word in the verse, V'choshech al panei tohom, there was darkness in the earth, refers to the Greek Empire who ruled the land of Israel from 332 BCE all the way until 146, right after Alexander the Great conquered the Persian Empire, and they exiled the Jewish people. And finally, upon the face of the depths, al panei tohom refers to the Malchut HaRisha'ah, the Western nations, starting with the Roman Empire, who conquered the Greeks and eventually exiled the Jewish people and remained the dominant powers in continual format until this very day. Those are the first four parts of that verse. And the end of that verse says that Veruach Elokim merachefet, the Spirit of God is hovering. He says that refers to the Spirit of Moshiach, who will usher in a redeemed world and put an end to the longest and final exile. So essentially what Reish Lakish is teaching and revealing, without going through the lengthy explanation of how each one matches each thing, how each idea matches those words in the verse, he's sharing with us that right in the beginning of creation, God sets into motion this journey of struggle and overcoming challenges and revealing new energy that was otherwise inaccessible until each point in time when that point came. And through revealing this deeper inner powers by overcoming the struggles of each time, eventually we usher in organically this time of Mashiach when the world will be filled with peace and love and the light of God upon us all. What's so fascinating is that Reish Lakish is the one who revealed this teaching, because this teaching is the symbolism of Reish Lakish's life himself. He went through, so to speak, a personal exile where by transforming his life and using all the energy that was previously known to be negative and ruthless and being the chief of the bandits, all of a sudden he was able to come to the table and bring this redemptive spirit to the sages by showing the sages how much depth, wisdom, and light is hidden in the verses that they've been studying so long they didn't even see it themselves. So he actually embodied this idea and revealed it in this verse, how this is the story of our people. We're going to go through these stages, trials, tribulations, personal struggles, national struggles, and each time after coming through it, we'll have a rebirth and a re-energizing of the spirit to be able to gather together all these hidden energies and bring about organically this Mashiach era for all people, for the entire universe. So this teaches us something really, really important about what's happening in the world today around us. Sometimes we look at the world and we see things that seem completely senseless and out of order and random and just absolutely crazy, like the bandit activity that Reish Lakish was doing. But Reish Lakish is reminding us that everything is part of the plan. And sometimes, like if you're sitting at an amazing production, an amazing show, and you see one scene after the next, and the audience is jumping and excited and oohing and ahhing, one scene after the next scene, it gets better and better, and there's more excitement, and there's more revelation, and there's more nuances. There's one person who is not excited at all and is just continuing to move forward almost as if like they know exactly what's going on, and that is the playwright. In a sense, God is the playwright of history, and we can, in Jewish teachings, remind us that we're here not just to be spectators watching the show and being surprised as each scene unfolds in front of our eyes, but rather, unlike in the play, every single one of us can become partners with the playwright. We can become partners with God in creation by doing activities, first of all, by shifting our perspective of what we see in the world around us, not to become derailed by what's happening around us, by the negativity, by the challenges, the difficulties that we're experiencing, but on the contrary, to see it from the view of the playwright and say, this is part of the plan. How can I join forces and become part of the creation process of making this scene end in the most beautiful way, in the way that it's intended to end? There's someone who's going to do it. Someone's going to play the part. We have the choice to be the one who will play that part, every one of us. So first of all, we can shift our perspective. And secondly, we can take action. For the Jewish people, for us, it will be taking action through studying more Torah, understanding more the purpose of creation, understanding more the role that we need to play, that our souls receive this unique Jewish way of bringing light and redemptive spirit to the world, through learning Torah and observing our mitzvahs, and each nation in their way focusing on how I can participate in being the creator of the scene, of the unfolding of the scene, and make it in the most beautiful way that it's going to become anyways. But I have the choice to be that person who will make it happen. That choice is open. The scene is going to be how it's going to be. It's already planned. Who's going to do it? That's our choice, to be part of making the beautiful scene. What is the ultimate scene? The unfolding of the Moshiach era, healing and peace the world over, where the presence of the love and light of God will be upon us all. May it be speedily. Amen.